Dabo Swinney joined us. Coach, first of all, always good seeing you. Life, I'm assuming, is pretty good, right?
Yeah, man. Getting ready to keep this thing going again, and always excited to be here with you guys because that means it's close.
No doubt. We'll start with what everybody's talking about, Garrett Riley. You've since, doing some homework, had to tweak a little bit, and you're always looking to get better. What have you seen with Garrett Riley so far as the system he's implementing and how your guys have responded to it, and what we can expect as fans to watch it?
Well, the biggest thing I've seen is confidence. He's a very confident guy. There's a lot of enthusiasm that is contagious from that. And, as I've said a couple times today, it's the same house. We just cleaned out the closets and put some new flooring in and nice new paint job, new roof, and so it's exciting. A little spring cleaning, if you will, and guys have just bought in. It's been a fun process. We didn't have everybody available this spring, but how the guys have worked this summer, the accountability, the leadership. I think we're in a really good spot. Garrett's super fired up to get out there in the valley and on the road Labor Day night to get this thing started for real.
It's fun to hear Cade Klubnik walking around now. He knows he's the guy. He has the reins. He has the keys. The messaging that you're sending to him, knowing you've had to manage young quarterbacks with high expectations on this team coming in for this job. So what's your main message to Cade? Just
be who he is. Be the same kid that he's been his whole life. He's a winner. And, there's all consistent winners have certain characteristics, and he embodies all those characteristics. So just continue to be, who he's always been. I mean, he's got great experience. He's got a great background. He's a natural leader. He's got unbelievable energy. He loves to prepare. He's put in the work. So just lean on the work that you put in and the experience that he gained last year, and just play within the system, man. It's going to work.
I mentioned Garrett Riley, and there have been some new faces with the staff. How about old Thunder and Lightning getting back together?
Yeah,
For old school Clemson fans, I use old school, it's not that long ago.
Yeah.
Pretty cool to see both those guys back. And but you've been preaching the whole thing about education. It gets lost in today's society, but that's a cool story.
Yeah, I've been trying to get James back for a while, and he's a few classes short of graduating, and timing was right, and so it's really cool. And he just finished 5 days of all-in meetings, and he loved it. And it was really cool to see him kind of go through that process on this side of the curtain, if you will. But it's going to be pretty awesome because he's an undergrad. So as an undergrad student coach, he can coach on the field. He can do everything but go on the road and recruit. So him and CJ, along with those other dudes we got in that running back room, that's quite a room. It's going to be a lot of fun to see them all work together.
You have so many former players on your staff and in those rooms, like from offensively to Taj Boyd and CJ Spiller and all those guys defensively. You have Nick Eason over there. Who's the most competitive former player that you now have on your staff with the guys now? Who's the coach that's most competitive with their guys?
Most competitive with their guys in what regard?
Just wanting to get out there and get up in their faces with them and training with them when they're on the field. They still maybe think they have a little player in them.
Yeah, they're probably Nick. Nick went through mat drills. He put on his cleats and I think he was trying to make a point to some of his guys, and he did. And he went through the entire session of mat drills at 5:30 in the morning, and so probably Nick for sure. And honestly, I might not get 3 downs out of him, but he'd probably be pretty good on first down.
It's second and long is what you're telling me, right?
He can still do it, but man, all those guys are super competitive. We you see it when we get out there and play a little noon ball and stuff, but prideful group.
The last time we saw you guys was obviously the spring game. Taylor was on the sideline. But you didn't have everybody, especially the offensive side, right? The skill guys. One of the things I think we're all interested in watching is, number one, Garrett Riley's offense from that perspective, and you get your weapons back. From a health standpoint, what we can expect to see in 23. What about the wide receivers? I know the tight end's going to be incorporated too in the backs, but I'm talking about the wide receivers in particular.
Yeah, well, first of all, we're healthy. It's been a while since we've been able to say that. Obviously, we had several guys not out there this spring. We signed 4 guys that we're excited about, that I think gives us an infusion of speed and talent. But this is on paper, the fastest team we've had. You know, we had the most guys that we've ever had, you know, run more than 20 miles per hour. This is also probably the most accountable team we've had in about the last 6 or 7 years. But it all goes back to being healthy. And, man, it all starts with Bo Collins and Antonio and Cole and Adam and Spector. You know, those 5 guys, I think, really give us, you know, a special group. And then, you know, we added Noble Johnson and Ronan Hannafin and, you know, Tink Kelly and Tyler Brown, you know, guys that really bring a lot to the table. So we've got depth and we've got just a room full of, you know, speed and athleticism. But, you know, Cole got some good experience. You know, Adam came off the knee, but he still got a lot of experience. Antonio's a freshman All-American. And then Bo Collins he's a pro, man. I mean, he's outstanding. You know, we've just got to catch a little bit of luck and stay healthy. You know, he had a good freshman year. Last year was off to a great start. Obviously missed some time with injuries and then shoulder surgery in the offseason, missed spring. But, God, he looks great. And if that kid's on the field, good things are going to happen. So it starts with those guys, and, you know, we'll add the depth, you know, as we go.
I know every year you pick a word before the start of the season. You have it under lock and key. You announce it on the particular day on the opener. But if we're going to go with one word, we're talking offense, but defensively, the word you would use to describe this defense with these players that you have this season? Experienced.
Incredibly experienced. You know, this is the most depth we've had at corner in a long time. Same thing at safety. You know, took some lumps last year, and honestly, if we're a better pass offense and a better pass defense, we're gonna have a heck of a year. But man, I'm super excited about the depth and experience on the back end. Guys that have played a lot of football, guys that have gained really good experience, and then, you know, Trotter and Barrett Carter and Wade Woodaz. I mean, it just, man, those guys are amazing. And then you get up to the front line. We got a lot of guys that have played a lot of ball. So that's the biggest thing is experience. And again, no greater teacher than experience. And that's what I'm excited, because it's not just experience, it's talented experience.
You know, you've had a lot of really great players, especially that defensive line comes to mind immediately. But the collection of linebackers you have, Coach, listen, I've watched a lot of Clemson football. Those dudes, I don't think you've ever had a better collection. I know you talked about depth. That's always an issue from that perspective. But, man, that starting group, first couple guys coming off the bench, I don't think you've ever had a better starting group of linebackers.
No, I mean, you know, I really think I think Trotter and Carter are probably on their way to being first-round draft picks at some point if they, you know, continue on the path that they're on. And I don't know that we've ever had that. 2 guys playing at the same time of that type of caliber. We've had a lot of great
making
players.
all kinds of plays.
And then Woodaz, man, he's a monster. And what he was able to do last year as a freshman, and then where he is now, and he can do so much. You know, I mean, we can really play him in a lot of ways. You know, he can play Mike, he can play Will, he can play a Big Sam. You know, he's athletic enough to play safety if we needed him to. He can do a lot. He's incredibly smart. He's a former quarterback growing up. So he just brings a lot to the table. And now he's just got confidence because he's got some success under his belt from last year. So it's a really, really good group. And with those guys, those big butts up front, it's a good time to be a linebacker for the Tigers.
It feels good. Okay, we're talking football, but also personally for you, because the last time we were all together was Amelia Island, and you weren't there because you had a scheduling conflict, because for a good reason. You went to South Africa for vacation. Tell us a little bit about that and what you were able to do there.
Yeah, it was amazing. I hated to miss that, but it had been. They changed the date midstream, and it was just too far down the road. But it was 3 years in the making. Finally got to go with a big group, about 30 people, and just you know, to be at another continent, to see the Southern Cross, to see the animals in their environment was, I mean, it was a life-changing experience for sure. And glad I got a chance to do it. It was a long way, very, very long way, but it was an amazing experience.
Did you have a favorite animal you saw?
The lion. And the lioness, I mean, just amazing, powerful.
Very.
I mean, they were all amazing, but there was just something about, like, 3 things I learned. Nobody messes with the lion, nobody messes with the elephant, nobody messes with the rhino. You know?
No thanks.
If you're not one of them, you're in the food chain every day you wake up. And but it was a pretty neat thing to be able to see them.
I'd be remiss if I don't bring this up. Again, I always have a good time when you're all in of ball, but what you also do with the women's clinic and the money raised, you just finished that up. I don't, you don't want to brag about it, but man, really, that's turned into an incredible event.
It is. We had about 1,500 plus ladies show up last Saturday, and it was amazing. You know, we've dealt with a lot. You know, Ella Brzee, her mom and sister came. Megan and Kendall, they came and were a part of the day. And it was a powerful day for sure. Jeremiah Trotter's mom, Tammy, passed away of breast cancer in this past year. So it was a big day for them. You know, Julie Venables is battling breast cancer right now. And of course, Tyler is a part of our team. Right. So it's a powerful day. You know, we have a lot of fun. But man, there's a lot of courage and a lot of strength and a lot of synergy that comes from that day for a lot of ladies that are so brave, and you know, they'll come down on that floor together, and it's just an amazing day. And Kath's done an awesome job, and just she's very passionate about that. Certainly losing her sister to breast cancer as well, it hits home to so many people, and so it's really something that I look forward to every year. It
really puts life in perspective, doesn't it? I mean, we sit here and talk football, and it's your bread and butter from that perspective, but what you do with the all-in ball in that event as well, again, it's kind of a reminder, isn't it? Just a little tap on the shoulder.
Yeah, that's what I tell Kath, that's what I tell my team all the time. Probably my biggest job now is to make sure that we keep proper perspective, especially when you've had a lot of success. It's so easy to let the outside expectations or narratives or whatever become greater than the inside purpose of why you do what you do, and that can't ever be the case. You can't ever let expectations become greater than the purpose of why you do what you do. Whether it's coach football, play football, whatever it is, because when that happens, you lose perspective, and when you lose perspective, you lose your joy. It's just like the narrative of if we don't win a national championship, we failed, and I mean. 128 years, we've won 3 national championships. If that's your mindset, you've missed out on a lot of great days as a Clemson Tiger. You do the best you can. You try to be purpose-driven, not expectation-driven, and that's how you live your life from the inside out. And that's what we try to do. And certainly moments like that, man, just and what we've been through as a team this past year with some of our family members within our team. That have gone through some struggles and have moved on to heaven, man, it creates real perspective of what's important, and again, just a reminder of how blessed we are to have a day, and let's just win the day and be great today and rejoice in today, because that's what we have. And,
all right.
So it's a mindset.
I told everybody before you showed up, I said, you know what the problem with Dabo is? He'll want to hang out with us for a half an hour, 45. But
you guys are fun.
I know, we got to get you guys moving. But you know what? You mentioned afraid of the lion, afraid of the rhino, elephant. Somebody better be afraid of the tigers. Something tells me the tigers.
There were no tigers where I was. I didn't even know that.
You were the tiger.
Yeah, I was the tiger.
You were the representative.
There you go. That's right.
Look, we look forward to seeing you on the camp tour and obviously during the season, but to stay healthy was always a pleasure.
Maybe that's why those animals were eyeballing.
Yeah.
They knew.
They were eyeballing you for some other reason. I guarantee you that.